a just impromptu live. Um, I decided today that I probably needed to be more proactive in what is happening with me. Um, I was honestly totally pissed off yesterday because I was only gone an hour and they let themselves into my house, fed my dogs peanut butter with a fork, which I found this morning when I was doing dishes, and stole my dog's bowl. And I know it wasn't the one neighbor because he was at work. It was the other neighbor that I caught on video just the other day. And it's not like I haven't caught him before. One day he was standing out in front of my house and it was meant to harass me. So I took a video of it. Hey, Cognitive, I took a video of it. And my police know because I talked directly to Noah Schilling about it. And if you look at all the emails that I have sent out, Neil and Neil Gross, Chad Butler, Noah Schilling are included in all of them. In fact, they're the first people that I put to address the emails to. I've caught the dude harassing the shit out of me on video over and over and over. The meth head who doesn't have a fucking job. My dog bowl disappeared yesterday. Hey, Katie. Sorry. Hey, Saki. My dog bowl did not just disappear out of thin air. And it was to let me know after I hung that sign in my yard, they can get in my house anytime they want. And they've targeted my dogs. It's funny because I had a conversation with my therapist. And I told my therapist the shit part about everything is that I'm starting to get triggered to where I feel like I'm becoming agoraphobic again. And my therapist told me, no, that is not what is happening. Agoraphobia is an irrational fear of something happening when you leave your house. That's not what's happening here. They break in whenever they want. At the same time, Daniel Dowd as Pootie Twang is posting video after video after video of my house burning down. That's how it works. And so it's what I'm going through is very rational. It it's an understandable thing. So I'm on here and I am basically begging people for donations. I need to replace the locks on my house. I did research this morning to find out what the best locks were for my house. I found one. It's the one that I found that will work is $230. I hate to ask, I hate to beg, but I have to do something. I have some of you in the comments saying, be safe. This is dangerous. I know it's dangerous. You have to understand, I was in all of this long before Isaac Cappy ever got into it. I've been involved with this. I've watched people get murdered and all of that. Relocating is not going to help me. I moved from Seattle, Washington to Erling, Iowa, and the day after I got there, Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, started sending me emails about how they were already waiting for me in Erling. So wherever I run to, they're just going to follow. So I need to take my stand here. The first thing I need to do, being proactive, is that I need new locks on the door. And the locks that I have to get are not, like I said, the one that I found was $230. $230 seems like a lot, I know, for a lock, but they go up to $500. I can't afford a $500 lock. And so I'm begging for donations to put a lock on my door so that they can't just get into my house at will. I also did research today on how to prevent Wi Fi jamming. Wi Fi jamming is a lot more common than people actually realize, more common than I realized. And so there's a list of things that you do. Hardwiring my cameras are not going to keep them out of my house. And they'll just take the security system. That's what'll end up happening. So I have to, where I need to start is changing the locks. But as it is, I'm afraid to leave my house. I was only gone an hour yesterday, and they got in and took my dog's bowl. And it was to target my dogs. That's what it was all about, is targeting my dogs. And so PayPal and Venmo, D Shurter, I'm at the point where I'm just begging because I need to change the locks so that they can't get into my house anymore. I'm afraid they're going to hurt my dogs and burn my house down. And why am I afraid of that? Because they're posting video after video after video after video of that very thing. My house burning down, them exploding my house, hurting my dogs. This has been a freaking nightmare living under all this. And so, like I said, the lock that I found is $230, you know, and I'm basically begging for donations. For those of you who haven't gotten a book and want a book, they're $30, you know. Again, PayPal and Venmo is D Shurter, just my first initial and my last name. I hate to do this, but I don't know what else to do because I can't leave my house. Yesterday I left for an hour and it happened. I know who it is. It's the same person who has harassed the shit out of me. I really do believe the videos that I sent my police the other day, had I not come home when I did, they would have robbed me. They would have gotten into my house because they were all outside. All of them. And I have it all on video. You know? It's not like my sheriff doesn't know. Again, if you go to my blog and you read this stuff, the emails that I send out, Neil Gross, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, his Captain Chad Butler, and his Deputy Noah Schilling are the first on the email chain. You can see their names on the email chain, you know? And so I'm just, I don't grow marijuana. The police have come into my house several times, you know? I invite them in when they come in. It's not like I'm a dick to them. Deputy White was the last one I had come in, you know? But that's the kind of shit that they actually do. That's the shit that they do. You know? It is incredible. Then once I get the locks changed, I can focus on the Wi-Fi. There are devices that you can get that will stop them from being able to jam it, but they're expensive and I can't do it all at once, you know? And by the time I'm done, I want to, um, I'm working on artwork, but to tell you the truth, the last few days, I haven't even really been able to think because it's been so stressful. You know, it's so stressful. I'm worried every time I leave my house that they're going to break in. Because why? Because the dickhead just sits over there. He doesn't have a goddamn job. He's a self-admitted meth head. He's the one who told me they were glad. He was glad because I turned off my light, my porch light on and off because he knew I was still alive when I first moved in. And he's the only one I offered a book to in the neighborhood, and Daniel Dowd he's the one who Geo Farnsworth just said he's talking to my neighbors. Of course, then Geo Farnsworth says he's not talking to my neighbors. So when I call him out, the story changes. You know, that's how it works. And the number that he was using to actually click in on, all of that. I blocked that this morning because I'm not playing with it, you know. But it was good to hear from my therapist that I'm not suffering from agoraphobia. The issues that I'm having right now, not wanting to leave my house, are not based on irrational fears. They're based on threats I can prove. And I'm not even watching Daniel Dowd's videos. You know, I cannot get more dogs. You know, I can't get more dogs. I'm doing what I have to do. The locks have to change. The locks so that they can't get in, and it's so easy. That's what I have to do. It's a logical step of what I have to do this. And I figured, you know, the only way I'm going to be able to do it, I'm going to start working on artwork. I'm going to start getting bags. Hopefully, I can sell some of those and, you know, actually get out of the rut that I'm in. But I can't move. If I run, they're just going to follow me. They've already done it before. And do I know that it's dangerous? Yeah, I've had family members murdered. I've had friends murdered. Owen got murdered. If you go to my blog, davidshurter.com, and if you go to davidshurter.com, nobody, and right, cognitive, no donation is too small. At this point in time, I'm desperate. If you can only offer a couple dollars, I'm definitely, you know, they're on my phone and it's overheating. I'm just telling you guys right now. If it overheats, I'm going to shut my phone off. I'll come back on. Just stay on because I'll come back on. Today has actually been a relatively good day. I haven't had one fucking email from Thomas Schoenberger, which was, oh my God, amazing. You know, I am amazing. And as far as Pootie or Geo Farnsworth, all he did was text that Geo Farnsworth isn't his real name. You know, which is funny because Thomas, who's all involved, sent out a rap sheet for Geo Farnsworth. But if that's not his real name, then Thomas's bullshit was bullshit. So one of them is lying. One of them is lying. And this is all about child trafficking. This is all about child trafficking. I will say on a good note, the last update that I got about Nathan Stillman, because I don't watch Nathan's stuff. I don't watch any of their stuff really. I have a life. I have enough on my plate. I don't need. But from what I understand, Nathan Stoltman is finally finding his balls and is blocking a bunch of them, you know, and not dealing with them. Nathan is intelligent and he's nowhere near as crazy as they're trying to convince him to be. And I just, he's not a weak individual. And he could actually, what he needs to do is tell the lot of them to go fuck themselves. That's the only way to be involved with this. That's the only way to be involved with it. Is that you just have to tell them to go fuck themselves. Because otherwise, they harass. And they harass as a gang. You know? It's not just in real life. Obviously, on the internet, it never stops. It never stops. It's just constant. Constant emails, constant threats, constant videos being posted, constant attacks, constant, 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 and they all do it as a group. All the while telling themselves that they're all opposition to each other. But they all act the same. You know? They all have the same goal. They all work as a team. And so, but I'm not running from my house. I'm not. I need to change the locks. The lock that I found, the cheapest one that will actually work is $230. So I'm begging for donations. I'm going to start doing artwork so that I have stuff to sell so that I'm not having to be a beggar, you know? And so I just, New locks have to happen. New locks have to happen. And and I'm not running from my house. And I'm not, I will say in this video, I have specifically told my therapist not to get involved with any of this. My therapist is there for me. I don't want my therapist making reports or anything like that because they will target my therapist. That's how it works. It's worked that way with other people. I've watched it work that way with other people. And I don't want my therapist targeted. But if Thomas Schoenberger comes and says I'm a threat to myself or someone else, my therapist told me they're going to override what I've asked and they will get involved. You know? And so it is deplorable, Susan, and I don't feel safe. I feel okay when I'm here because I have stuff. Unfortunately, I have stuff that basically barricades the door. Someone was nice enough to send me stuff that I can put on the doors that actually they can't get in when I'm here. You know, I need commercial grade locks, not just simple old locks that you can pick. That's the reason why the stuff that I'm getting needs to be commercial grade. I'm not doing $49 whatever because they get in, you know, they get in, you know, and I'm not going to argue with people who aren't involved, who aren't going through what I'm going through, who aren't involved, who aren't involved, you know, not going through anything. Yes, Susan, that's exactly what I'm getting. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking at. Commercial grade, unpickable, non-pickable, hard to get into. You know, I'm not playing this game anymore. You know, I have to do something. And so, yeah, they did, Saki, they deserved to steal a laptop. And you want to know what? It wasn't Daniel Dowd who came into my house and stole that laptop. It wasn't Geo Farnsworth who came in and stole that laptop. It wasn't Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, who came in and stole that laptop, even though he was the one who bragged about it on email and let me know that he had it. Again, davidshurter.com. It's probably the third or fourth post down. I showed the email. You know, the cops know. The cops knew. You know, they know everything. I send them everything. There are people in here who see everything. It's not like it's like a delusional thing. Oh, I would love to get them locked up. They need to be incarcerated. The problem with that is that they would feed it to my dogs. You know, I called them. I filed a report. Everything was, I've called them. You know, I'm going to be doing artwork. But if you go read today's post, I have to worry about them coming in and destroying my shit because of the text that I got on my phone, you know? And so and as far as I'm concerned, Daniel Dowd's child needs a welfare check. That child is not safe with Daniel Dowd. Geo Farnsworth's kids need a welfare check. They're not safe with Geo Farnsworth. The shit that they do online, the videos they make, the things that they're doing, children are not safe around them. Thomas Schoenberger is just bipolar. That's what everyone says about his emails. Oh my God, he goes from supporting me to attacking me, to supporting me to attacking me. And it can be in the same email. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. The dude seems off to me. But it is being done on purpose. You know, yes, I believe in God. I completely believe in Jesus. The only reason I'm here is because of heaven. Thomas is trying. Hey, Gov, nice to see you. It's a, it's, and it's being done maliciously. It's being done intentional because it's crazy making. He does, yeah. They're outside. They love out them. Sherilyn calls me Snow White. I attract animals to my yard. Squirrels. The other day I had a rabbit in my backyard. Came in from underneath the fence just to say hello. The birds, when I come outside, start singing. You know, the things that I'm saying are the truth. You guys are child traffickers. This is probably Geo. This is probably Geo. Just screenshot of it. There we go. And now we'll just block him. And so all of this is a child trafficking ring. They're all involved in child trafficking ring. They're all involved. And that's what I'm trying to get investigated. My sheriff doesn't want to help because the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion was a domestic terrorism attack. It the official story in no way reflects the facts of what happened. And it's easy to ascertain. I've said this over and over and over. The official report says the place filled with gas and one explosion leveled the place. But the KETV news report that Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross was interviewed with, Dan, the owner who was in the gas station at the time, was interviewed, and I was interviewed in the same news program. It was two explosions. Dan was able to get out after the first explosion, go back in, get his brother in law, and get them both out to safety before the second explosion leveled the place. That's the reason why my sheriff doesn't like to deal with me, because it's a lie. And he'll say that it wasn't their job to count explosions, just like it wasn't their job to investigate what happened when they came in and murdered Owen. Daniel Dowd, who's making the videos of my house burning down right now over and over and over, came into town and was posting YouTube videos, live YouTube videos. The news article says two explosions. Yes, I've not only have I read it, I was there. I was interviewed. When you read that it starts off with saying it was like a war zone. That's my quote. They took that quote from me. The official report says that the place filled with gas and one explosion leveled the place. It doesn't. So thank you for actually confirming that the news article says that there's two explosions. You know? See, they're just in here trying to actually cause as many problems as they possibly can. And the person who was in my house yesterday, who stole my dog bowl, I know that there is communications that can be proven between him, and Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth. It was that you could see that there would, when Owen died and they were in town making live videos, I know that there was communication. The day of Owen's funeral, 11 o'clock, I was doing a video and they tried to break into my front door. I posted that video on my blog. I think it's the very latest article that I posted. I put that video on because it freaked me the fuck out. Excuse my language, but it freaked me out because I was downstairs and they thought that they were in town. Why were they in town? And they were live videos. They were live videos on YouTube. Geo Farnsworth was posting that he was in Harlan. Poor David. It was all a threat. And and I know, just like I know that there's probably communication at the same time that laptop got stolen from my house. Same communication. Same communication that Geo Farnsworth says he's talking to my neighbors. So there's communication there. You know, there's communication there. Why would I mention my best friends on here? You know, Did, and what does your question even matter? You know, Owen was basically my brother-in-law for 20 fucking years. So I didn't mention it and go into the whole detail and stuff. That actually, you know, and what did Owen have to do? I've talked about Owen before, you know, because I didn't know him at all. He was just my basic brother-in-law for 20 years. You know, he was my sister's boyfriend for 20 fucking years, but you're right. He came to our house with everything. I found him in the obituaries. God, you're stupid. The reason why they took out Owen is because when I started all of this, I actually went to the police, state patrolman, or cold case, Nebraska State Patrol cold case John Pankinen, and forced him to take my DNA to compare it to the Ricky Chaddick case. He was a boy who was abducted in Omaha. The last time he was seen was um, with a man and a woman in a white Cadillac. That white Cadillac was my grandmother Shurter's. It was my dad and my stepmom. And I made him take my DNA. And so the whole thing about it is that I haven't done anything with Nathan Stoltman. If you go back and listen to the first thing, Nathan Stoltman is now starting to get sick of all the bullshit that he's going through, and he's starting to block people. People are telling me about it. I don't watch Nathan's stuff. I think it's painful any more than I watched at the end. I watched Isaac Cappy's stuff because I thought it was self-destructive. Obviously, it was self-destructive. You know, I don't like to watch people self-destruct. I don't find it amusing. A bunch of people do. That's the reason why they're on Nathan's program. That's the reason why they watch Nathan, because they want to watch him self-destruct. They think it's funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I think it's painful to watch. And so, I don't know. John DeCamp was a bad guy. But the reason why they took out Owen is because Owen's brother Neil was basically Ricky Chaddick's stepdad. And so they've been trying to put Ricky Chaddick's murder on Neil. And Owen knew that it wasn't Neil. Owen knew exactly how I felt. Owen knew exactly that I felt that it was my father and stepmother. You know, I felt that it was my father and stepmother who actually abducted and murdered Ricky Chaddick. And they took out Owen because they don't want me to be able to prove any of it. Neil died mysteriously a year or two before Owen did. It has everything to do with Franklin. My book is all about Franklin Credit Union. All the shit that was in Omaha in the 80s. That's what this book is about. Nominated for Book of the Year when I wrote it. That's what this whole book is about. Published in 2012. It has everything to do. And I've met all of them. John DeCamp was a bad guy. So maybe he does write about Ricky. You know? I didn't steal any stories, idiot. They're on here in mass now. Because they think that their lies and their bullshit is actually going to deflect what's going on. But I have a blog. It's not like I haven't been documenting this shit since 2011. It's not like I haven't been documenting it. That's the whole thing. I've been documenting everything, you know? And so, oh, Jesus, they just sign in on different accounts and actually come in and just think that their bullshit actually, their distraction works, you know? Signed copy of Rabbit Hole is $30, and that includes shipping in the United States. If you're out of the United States, you need to get a hold of me. David at davidshurter.com, or you can get a hold of the thing that, you know. I don't know if the Satanic Coven is still active in Omaha. I doubt it, because even after Franklin, it moved. I keep forgetting the town that it moved to. Give me a moment and I'll tell the town. But it moved. It shifted and moved out of Omaha. And they were all, I can prove the stuff that I do because I take screenshots of all your shit, Geo. You know, that's Geo. I'll take a picture of that. It's Geo. Geo's in here. Geo's actually all upset because I've been calling them out, you know? And it's not my job to prove shit. It's the police job. It's the police. That's the reason why Thomas says, oh, well, you're not going and reporting this shit. My sheriff knows fucking everything. Aren't you supposed to call the sheriff in town? You know, aren't you supposed to call when someone breaks into your house? Aren't you supposed to call the law in town? You know, isn't that how it's supposed to work? Because that's what I've done. I've documented it on my blog with screenshots of their own shit. You know, that's what most of my blog is screenshots of their own shit. You know, that's how it works. But I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm in here today begging for money. I'm not being a grifter. I'm just basically begging money. No, Fred Trump was involved with the rituals. Fred Trump was involved with the rituals, just like Michael Aquino was. And Fred Trump was there all the time, just like Michael Aquino. You know, there were a lot of George Bush Sr., was there. There were a lot of important. Warren Buffett was there. PJ Morgan was there. You know, there was just, there were so many people there. Fred Zedek was there. Fred Zedek went out of his way to actually, be involved. All of this shit was going down in Humboldt Park. There were a lot of people, you know, and I was under the age of 10, you know, I was under the age of 10. But it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't change the facts of what is. It doesn't change what's going to happen in judgment. And we are in judgment. And it's not going to stop anything. Whether or not people believe it or not is inconsequential, won't have an effect on anything. What is what is, you know? And so there'll be no discussion. And I believe that we're at the end. That super volcano in Italy is about ready to explode. You know, Warren Buffett did not make his money because he's an oracle. He made the money because there was so much cocaine being flown into Offutt Air Force Base from the Contras. If you go and read Confessions of an Antichrist, you will see that they busted out Pablo Escobar's nephew, Kevin Dobson, who was my sister Kathy's best friend, and Mike Dillon. They busted his nephew, and in busting his nephew in Omaha, Nebraska, that's how they got Pablo Escobar. They had to take Pablo Escobar out because he was hurting their drug trade. You know, volcano off Oregon ready to go. It's all ready to go. It's all ready to go. It's the stuff is crazy. I'm just trying to survive as best as I can right now. You know, and so I'm in here begging for money because I need to replace that lock immediately. You know, I need to replace that immediately. Oh Jesus! And then Geo just comes jumping in here again. You know. Hey, Block. Smokey's working. He's not in here today because he's working. But I'm hoping that I can get, because I can't leave my house for any amount of time. For any amount of time. You know, can't leave the house. That's the reason why. No donation is too small. The locks that I'm looking at, the lock that I want to get is $230. And so I'm in here begging for money. That's the basic, unfortunately, that's the basic reason why I'm doing this live. Is, I'm just begging so that I can get the locks changed. Because they just broke into my house yesterday, fed my dogs peanut butter, and stole my dog's food bowl. You know, it is, but it's a commercial lock. I can't go out and get $100 lock like you would get because they can pick them. I did research today. It's a specific company that actually makes locks that are almost impossible to pick. And no one's going to have a key to it. I just need to stop them from getting into my house. And then afterwards, afterwards, then I'm going to try and get the money set up to actually get the device that will stop them from scrambling my Wi-Fi. Because if you go research, how can I stop them from scrambling my Wi-Fi? You'll find that it's way more common than anybody knew. It's way more common. It's an easy thing to do. They do it all the time. Hey, Robert. And so, bait. Oh, my cardinal is singing now. Hears me outside and just starts singing. See? Heard me out here. That's what happens. And so, the child trafficking thing happened. And I've named all of the names for the child traffickers. It's the same people who are on top of me, the same people that were in here. It takes about 5 seconds to pick a normal lock. That's exactly it, Gov. So I spent hours doing research on what kind of lock to get that can't be picked. And it's a special company. And $230 sounds like an expensive lock. Do you know that they have locks that are like $450, $500, $600 locks? It's, this isn't a lock that you can go buy at a hardware store. It's not Quickset. It's because those can be picked. And they do. They pick them all the time. I need a lock that can't be picked because I'm afraid they're going to come in and hurt my dogs. And they're going to actually burn my house down because they're making videos over and over and over about it. Thank you, Gov. 230 is a reasonable price for a security lock. You know? And they do this stuff because they know, you know, oh God, Geo, just give it up. How far am I from Des Moines? About 2.5 hours. 40 minutes from Omaha, about 2.5 hours from Des Moines. And so it's 38 minutes. I'm only going to do an hour of here, but I want to pray quick because I like to pray. I would really like to get to the point where I can stop talking about all these child traffickers and actually start encouraging everybody and we can all talk about the word, you know? And so I'm just, and Gov, that's totally fine. I have not been in the mood to actually talk to anybody. Yesterday, I almost didn't do a live because I was so upset. They, they're triggering my PTSD and they're doing it on purpose. They're doing the same shit to me that they're doing to Nathan Stoltman. It's just Nathan Stoltman they're having a much greater effect on, you know? But I have an excellent therapist and I've had 20 years of therapy. So, in our weakness, he is strong. Let me pray. Heaven, we come to you as your children. I come to you as your child. I'm in here begging for donations for that lock. I'm afraid they're going to violate me in worse ways than they already are. They break into my house. They brag that they're in league with my neighbors, which I know they are. Those same neighbors are breaking in, stealing my dog dish, stealing my laptop, doing whatever they want. And it feels unsafe and it is a violation. And anybody who would suffer the same thing that I'm suffering through would say the same thing. You know, they wouldn't like it. Nobody wants strangers breaking into their house at will and doing whatever the fuck it is they want to do. And you know that I've been angry with you for the last few days because I feel like I'm just in this on the front lines alone and I can't do this without you. You know, they say that all things are possible with you, but none of this is possible without you. That's how I feel. And I have been stressed. And you know, because you've been dealing with me angry, journeying, bitching, complaining, demanding answers. I mean, it has definitely been a dark night of the soul for me for the last, well, for a while now, but especially for the last few days. I don't watch the videos of them that they're making of my house burning down and making all kinds of weird ass threats and freaking people out who watch those videos. I don't need to watch them. And so I don't. But it adds to the stress, which is what it's supposed to do. Geo Farnsworth coming in here and just, that's not my name. That's not my name. You know, I'm just, it's exhausting to deal with these child traffickers, and what they're doing is so wrong. It defies words. And I'm not the only or the first. Nathan Stoltman is not the only or the first. It's just they haven't murdered us yet. They've murdered lots of others. But I'm grateful that I come in here and that there are people who are supporters and that I feel supported. And I appreciate that. You told me to open up comments on my YouTube, and now I know why. And I'm grateful that you sent that to me, even though I didn't want to do it at first. I'm highly grateful. And we love your son, Jesus Christ. We know we're at the end. We know we're in judgment, and we're all doing what we can. I ask that you help those who are able to donate so I can get a lock on my door so I'm not trapped in my own house worrying that they're going to hurt my dogs or burn my house down when I leave, because they watch me. They're right next door and they watch every move I make. And they've harassed me. I've had them on camera. I've talked to the police. I have it on camera. I have evidence of this shit. But it makes no difference. And I know that trying to find satisfaction going down that path ain't going to happen. You are the only way. And I'm grateful for your son, Jesus Christ. I know that the trials and tribulations that I've been going through in this life were not as much as our brother. But it doesn't make my cross any less hard to bear. Nor does it make any of the crosses that we've all picked up to follow our brother easier to bear. Just give us the strength and the grace and the disposition to actually follow this through and do what you need us to do, because all glory goes to you. And we say this gratefully, lovingly, and sometimes pleadingly in your son's name, our brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, we're not going to let the victims steal our peace. No, we're not. I had to go look through and make sure that there was no one. Sherilyn's not in here today because this was an impromptu one. She had stuff that she had to do today, so she's out doing stuff. And so I'm kind of on my own this time. But I was up at 2:30 this morning. I woke up wide awake, sick to my stomach over stress because of all the shit that went down yesterday. Them taking my dog bowl because it was we can get into your house and hurt your dogs anytime we want. and I woke up at 2:30. I haven't slept since then, you know, and woke up stressed. And then this morning, I made some coffee and then decided, what the hell can I do that's a proactive? And what I realized was, I need to go research locks. What were the best locks to get? The one that I found that was affordable, even though it's expensive, was $230 from a company that makes locks that are commercial, that can't be picked, you know? And I just, so I did that. And then I researched how to prevent people from scrambling your Wi Fi, to realize that it's way more common than anybody ever gives it credit for. I will be making more bags. Um, so I'll have stuff for sale. I just don't have anything right now. And I do have my book, $30. If you're in the United States, it's all about child trafficking and the Franklin Credit Union. And if you read it, you will realize that I didn't steal any stories out of it. It's my personal stuff, you know. No, it's not that they're breaking in the back of. The back has a 9-foot fence, and my back door. I'm sitting in the 3-season porch by my back door, and everything. I can't see it. Has chains on it. What the hell happened to the other chain? Chains and locks. They go like that. Because that's how I have to live. You know? They're not coming in the back. They're not jumping over this 9-foot fence. You know? It's brazen because they're right next door. You know? They're right next door. That's how they know when I leave. Hold on 2 seconds. I have a... One comes in, one goes out. But, so they're coming in the front door. You know, they're picking that lock. That's the reason why I have to have that lock changed. I'm going to change the lock. So I'm on here begging for donations. It's even, none of it's going for food. It's all going for a lock because I'm afraid I'm going to come home and not have a house. Because they're making videos of burning my house down over and over and over and over. Fuck, they can post 7 videos of my house burning down in a day. And that's the same shit they did before they murdered Owen. And then they came into town, And Daniel Dowd could come in, have my neighbor burn my house down, be in here, post a thing, See, Lisa, that's the whole thing, is that it takes money. What is an EUFY camera? What I want to do is get nanny cams that are just on SIM cards that I can hide. So when I know that they've been in, I can catch them on a SIM card. I don't want anything with Wi-Fi. They're shutting my Wi-Fi off. And that's just it, Gov. There are action cameras that cost $9. The ones that I was looking at, but they were sold out, were $13. Hey, Smokey. I told him that you were at work. This was an impromptu. This was a very impromptu one. I'm just begging for money just so I can pay to get the lock changed. It sucks. I don't want anything Wi-Fi. That's the reason why I don't want a smart lock. I looked at smart locks. They're all Wi-Fi. I don't want anything that's connected to Wi-Fi. Nothing. I want a basic manual lock that can't be picked, and it's not going to be Wi-Fi, can't be hacked with someone's phone. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking at. Smart is dumb. Right. So and I know $230 sounds like, oh, it's a lot of money. but $230 was reasonable. They go up, like I said, 400, 500, $600 for a lock, you know? And so, but I can't do Quickset. I can't do something that they can just easily pick because they watch. When I leave, they watch me. They know exactly when I'm leaving, you know? And then they come over. I was only gone an hour yesterday. I was in town and they were in my house. And did I call the cops? No. No. It gets me nowhere. And they're rude to me. You know? When they stole that laptop and bragged about stealing that laptop, I didn't even know that fucking thing was gone. And they bragged about it. The police did nothing. Treated me, and I talked to Noah Schilling twice. He called me twice. They did nothing. You know? Nothing. And so I'm just, it's crazy. It's crazy. We all have to do what we have to do, and we all have our crosses to bear. And I'm not going to run. They just follow you anyway. And I'm not going to step down and hide. Lori King, they got Lori King to take all of her shit down off of the internet, and a month later she was dead. That's how it worked. I know how this game works. I've been at it for years. I've watched them take out person after person after person. You know, I'm not running. I'm not running. And the only reason why I'm still here is because of God, because of heaven. It's the only reason I'm here. And heaven knows that I'm not going to quit. I posted all the evidence, Cognitive, but they don't think they're screwed. Hey, Smokey, have a great day at work. You know, have a great day at work. Chin up. You know, yesterday was a rough day for a lot of us. But we all care about each other. It's not just about me in here. And that's the reason why I want to actually shift all of this to where I can get away with talking, get it away from talking about fucking pedophiles and shit like that, and focus on the word and focus on helping each other get through all of this stuff. But right now, I kind of feel trapped. You know, I kind of feel trapped. And so, but with that said, I'm going to get off here. I'm really hoping that some of you, it doesn't make any difference how small. It'll all add up, even if it's $5 or $10. I sound like a politician. I hate it when they do that. They, I don't have any choice right now. You know, I have to do what I'm doing. Thank you, Cognitive. Cognitive started the fund. And right now, everything's going for that lock. I need that lock as soon as I can get it. You know? I just, and I appreciate anybody who actually can help. You know? And I hate to keep asking. I hate to ask. And I'll be glad when I have artwork that I can show and say, hey, do you guys want to, you know, are you interested in buying some of this and getting something for your money? You know, I'm looking forward to that day. But they want to fuck me up any way they possibly can. And them coming in and stealing that dog bowl, you know, I didn't stay in the hippie area. I didn't grow up in the hippie area. I can't afford constant haircuts. That's why my hair is long. I can't afford $40 every 6 weeks. So I just let my hair grow out. And I actually kind of like it. You know, my blog is a lot of work, and I'm going to have to start selling something anyway, because not next month, but the month after, all that shit comes due again. The domain name that I have to pay for and the security that I have to pay for and all of that. And I have done this for years on my own. I only started asking for donations, what, a year and a half ago? And it's just because I've reached a point where I can't keep it going. This cost me 14 grand to publish, and I haven't even come close to getting that. You know, haven't even gotten close to recouping the money from this. I have spent so much time and money and effort to actually keep this going because when I grew up, nobody helped me. Everyone turned away. And I swore to God I would never be like that. That I would never just look away. I would never just look away. I would, unfortunately, nobody in town is going to come to my garage sale. But I will fundraisers, I don't have any credit cards, Gov. And nobody wants to steal my PayPal or Venmo is D Shurter. Thank you, Cognitive. Sherilyn's not here, so Cognitive is keeping me going, you know? Right now, I couldn't finance a piece of bubble gum, you know? I'm disabled with PTSD, complex PTSD. It comes from growing up as a kid, having being forced to be involved with them slaughtering kids, which I write about in my book. You know, the nightmares have gotten terrible lately again. For years, I didn't have nightmares, but the stress level that I'm under right now, the nightmares are back. You know, the other night, I woke up in a cold sweat. I was back in Hummel Park, listening to children scream. And I can't begin to tell you, you know, this has been my cross to bear. And I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. I love God. I hate it. It's not been fun. I hate it. But it's been necessary. Evil thrives when good men do nothing. And I can't turn my face away from, because what happened to those kids when I was a kid growing up is still happening. You know, it's still happening. It's still being done. They're still trafficking kids. And I'm not willing to look away. And I felt Smokey's anger yesterday. That insane clown posse, I guess, was laughing about it on Howard Stern. There's nothing about pedophilia and hurting kids that I find funny. I don't find any of it funny. You'll never hear me laugh. And if you try to make me laugh about it, you're going to piss me off. And I think that's the way most of us feel. We're tired. We're tired of the pedophiles. And I'm not looking away. And I'm not running. That's why I'm asking for help to get a lock on my door, because I'm not running away and I'm not going to be afraid of these fucking pedophiles. And all those who support the fucking pedophiles. I'm not running away from them. What is there to run away from? They're pieces of shit. You know? They're pieces of shit. They don't get it. But they never will. Until the end. When they're going to get a good damn dose of it. They ain't going to like what's coming for them. What's already here to claim them. It's already here. And there's no escape. There'll be no escape from it. But I just have to tell you guys, I appreciate you. I love coming in here. You know, met friends. And I've gotten to the point now where I actually am starting to reach out to people on the phone. And, you know, I never thought it would happen after Owen. I closed down after Owen and was afraid to have more friends. But I figured they can't target all of you, you know? They can't target all of you. So thank you, Cognitive. You know, it's been terrible. In the last few days, like I said, I woke up 2:30 this morning sick to my stomach. Quarter to 3 in the morning, I had to get out of bed. I had to get out of bed and move around because the stress level was so high, you know? But they think they're going to make me die of a heart attack or a stroke, you know? And I don't think that's going to happen either. The shit that they're doing to me, all of the attacks, all of the shit that they do, their directed energy weapons, all of that shit would have killed anybody else by now. I swear it would have killed anybody else. I'm here because heaven has me here. You know? That's why I was so angry yesterday. Because I was angry at God. You know? See, Gov? But I think a lot of it has to do with we can feel what's happening on the planet. We can feel the energy on the planet. We can feel the sun inundating us. We can feel all of the energy that is fueling all of these volcanoes and earthquakes. We can feel it. And I don't think it's just because I have fucking pedophiles, but they just broke into my house yesterday. And what they did was a threat against my animals, you know? And I'm not expecting anybody to care. Fuck, a lot of people don't give a shit about kids. They're certainly not going to care about my dogs, you know? I'm not saying of that about a bunch of you in here. Just let me make that clear. I'm not calling you guys out. I'm just saying we're at the end and people's hearts have grown cold. They have grown cold. They're nasty, angry, selfish, self-serving, self-impressed motherfuckers. And it's just a difficult time to be alive right now. But no matter what the fuck they do to me, I'll live to 250 just to spite these dickheads. You know? I'll live till 250 and I'll keep going. Even if I'm walking on a walker, I'm still going to be fighting them. You know? And they get me to cross over. Oh, you ain't going to like what happens then because I am going to fight on that side too. You know? Pieces of shit. They're abhorrent to God. They're an aberration. Totally abhorrent. And they strut around like my fucking neighbor, thinking that there's something special. And they're not. Far from it. Which is why they strut around like they do. Because they're far fucking from it. Oh. Okay, well, on that note, that disgusting note that I just drooled on myself. Gross. At least I can laugh about it. But Bluck, don't worry about it. Some of you, if it came down to asking me for me donations, I don't have a pot to piss and I wouldn't have any money to give anybody. You know, anything is helpful. You, especially prayers too. You know, I'm just desperate to get the locks changed before they burn my fucking house down because they're doing videos saying that they're going to burn my house down. You know, and they've made video after video after video. So when my house burns down, my fucking sheriff is just going to say, well, it was just a coincidence. I know that they were threatening you and they were making video after video after video of your house burning down, but it's just a coincidence that your house burned down. You know? That's how it works. You know? And it's difficult. It's difficult. And it's stressful. But I'll end this. Thank you, Bobby. I'm hoping things get better too. I'm hoping things get better. I do things for people all the time. It's just that I don't have any money. But I I give freely of my time and energy. You know? That's why I do this. This is why I've done this for years. Give freely of your time and energy. Know yourself, control yourself, and give freely of your time and energy. You know? And so I do this because I love people. I, I, I love people, you know? And I love God. I love the word. I love God. And if I have to sacrifice myself in order to do what heaven needs me to do, then so be it. That's how it works. And it sucks and it's not fun. But if it's necessary, then it's necessary. You know? Sorry, I have a squirrel who's just staring at me and walking or going around, and now he's down on the ground just staring at me. I swear, if I had peanuts in my hand, they would come up to me, and they're wild, but I bet they would take peanuts in my hand. It's animals are great. Animals are great, and I have 5 birds lined up on the fence. Do you know of they are using satellite equipped with due capabilities to harass targeted people? Most definitely. And it took me a while to come to that because I always thought that it was boots on the ground. But now I'm finding out that they're satellites that they can, they're satellites targeting people, you know? No, no, we're not getting into a Holocaust discussion. One person in those camps was too much. Sticking one person and torturing them, one person, is too much. You know, every number that goes beyond that is just one more number that's too much. You know, and our own cell phones, they target us with their cell phones. Their technology is vast. You know, I've never heard voice to skull. I've never had voices in my head telling me stuff. I've never had that. But a constant buzz where my face is on fire. I'll be inside all day and wake and at the end of the day I look like I've been out in the sun all day because I'm sunburned. But it's I haven't been out in the sun. And it causes nerve damage and it causes your bones ache and your body hurts and it's awful. They're torturing people with microwaves is basically what they're doing. They're cooking us from the inside, you know? And yes, they say that they're non-lethal weapons. And if you want the government stuff, and you want to see evidence of the U.S. Air Force going in front of Congress in 2006 and saying that they have these weapons, go to my blog, davidshurter.com. Down in the search bar on the right, just type in directed energy weapons. All of the shit will come up. You know, all of it will come up. They've amplified the radiation from Wi-Fi and phone. Yeah, yeah. And so, but with that said, I need to get off here. I probably don't have much of a battery. I don't have much of a battery left. Please like and subscribe. I will be back in here on Sunday at 2 o'clock. This was just an impromptu because I'm desperate to change my log. I'm desperate. Before they want to shut me up any way they can, you know. And I'm not afraid that they're going to come kill me. They've tried that over and over and over. It hasn't worked. Actually, nothing that they've done. The torture works, but, you know, they've tried throughout the years to do a lot of shit to me. And heaven always thwarts them. It might be last minute, but always thwarts them. But yesterday, them coming in and stealing my dog's bowl. And now I have to feed her just out of a normal bowl. Today, she almost threw up her food because she eats so damn fast. And they broke in and fed him peanut butter. I haven't eaten peanut butter in a month. How do I have a fork full of peanut butter in my dishes? You know? And it's the fucking meth head next door who watches me come and go, who I've had on video harassing the shit out of me. The police know. The police know. That's a good idea, Gov. I'll give her a quarter at a time over a few minutes. The problem is that she'll scarf her food down and then she bothers the other two. She's on top of them, you know? And so they can't eat in peace. She's a vacuum cleaner, you know? It's inhuman. It's what they're doing is they're fucking Nazis. It's the same shit they were doing in the Nazi concentration camps. It's just portable now, you know? And I'm not the first. Certainly not the only. And Nathan Stoltman talks about it too, you know? Okay, that's a good idea, Gov, because I got to do something. I can't keep it up. It's not healthy for her to do what she's doing. But it just started yesterday because they stole that bowl yesterday morning. That bowl didn't just evaporate. And it's not like I haven't gone down on my hands and knees and looked under everything. I have searched for that bowl and it's nowhere to be found. And I knew exactly where it was in the kitchen when I left because I almost fed them before I left. It's the fucking meth head that I have on camera harassing the shit out of me, who was with people. It looked, they were casing my house. They were getting ready to break into my house just 2 or 3 days ago. 2 days ago, I think. You know? Okay, wet noodles. That's a dad joke. He was in a hospital due to a bike accident. Fell down a mountain and lost his left arm. But it's okay now. Because he's all right. You know? It is clever. I personally am not all right. In so many more ways than one. But with that said, I'm going to get off here. This has been great. I'm so glad that, you know, it was nice to see you, Gov. Again, Sunday, 2 o'clock. Prayers to all. Saki, it was wonderful to see you. Cognitive as always. Susan, it was great. Lisa, you know, it's been Bluck. It's nice to see you. You know, do text me. And so, with that said, again, I'll end it with any donations. I don't care how small. I'm desperate to get this lock on my door. It's $230. Venmo and PayPal is just my first initial D, my last name, Shurter. For those of you who want to buy a book, again, I got nominated for Book of the Year when I wrote it. In the United States, it's $30. Just tell me who I'm signing it, who I'm inscribing it to, and where I'm sending it. And thank you guys. And prayers work. You know? I appreciate prayers too. And welcome, Noodles. I hope to see you again. I hope you have some more dad jokes. I like dad jokes. You know? Kind of corny, but kind of funny at the same time. You know? and it lightens the mood. You know, it lightens the mood. I can be quite the dark cloud sometimes. Unfortunately, I can be quite the dark cloud sometimes. I tell people all the time, okay, I'm going to take my little dark cloud and go away. But thank you guys. And I'll see you on Sunday.